Hello, welcome back to another video on astrology. In this video, I'm going to talk to you about Kendradipatya Dosha. You may wonder why should I do a video on this topic? Because everyone seems to know what is Kendradipatya Dosha. The reason for doing this video is because most people got it wrong. So what is Kendradipatya Dosha? When a natural benefic rules house number 1 or 4 or 7 or 10, the group name given to these 4 houses is the Kendra. Kendra means square or center. The pure, unconditional benefics are obviously Jupiter and Venus. There are 2 conditional natural benefics, not all the time trusted benefics, and they are the Moon and Mercury. And Mercury has to remain unafflicted by any natural malefic for it to retain the status of a natural benefic. And the moon must be full, full moon, or plus or minus 7 days on either side, when the moon is relatively stronger. And the best way to find this out is if the moon is very strong in Shadbala, then you can say that it is a natural benefic. But because there is a condition applied to the 2 natural benefics, so you don't find these 2 planets always listed as natural benefics because there is always this doubt about their status. So let's discuss what Maharshi Parasara said about Kendradipatya Dosha. He said that when a natural benefic rules house number 1, 4, 7 and 10, it ceases to be. It is no longer a benefic. He has never said even once that it has turned malefic. By this rule, maybe due to something else, it became this planet became bad, a functional malefic. But based on Kendradipatya Dosha, the real definition is it ceases to be. It is no longer a benefic. Just because something is no longer a benefic, it doesn't mean it is a malefic. So whenever during my consultations, most of my clients who have seen many videos on YouTube, they told me, you are missing out on this point, Kendradipatya Dosha. And they used to, for example, a person born in Sagittarius ascendant, Dhanur Lagna, told me, no sir, you are making a mistake because Jupiter is the lord of the 1st and the 4th and he suffers from Kendradipatya Dosha, and therefore Jupiter Dasha will not be good to me. So in the chapters where Maharshi Parasara is describing the effects of planets in the Dashas and Antardasha, he has not even used once the term Kendradipatya Dosha. So what is Kendradipatya Dosha and why should we use it? When should we use it? These are the questions. So I would like to tell you that this topic, Kendradipatya Dosha, is actually redundant. You can actually skip this term totally because there is no use unless you want to find an explanation on certain things like functional benefics and functional malefics. So let's do a case study. Sagittarius ascendant. Now Jupiter owns the 1st house and also the 4th house. So using Kendradipatya Dosha, and in the way it has been used by many astrologers, you should say that Jupiter is a malefic for Dhanur Lagna people, which is Sagittarius ascendant. But when you go to the chapter where Maharshi Parasara describes about the good and bad planets for each Lagna, chapter number 36 in volume 1 of Brihat Parasara Hora Sastra, when we go to the paragraph where he describes for Sagittarius ascendant, he writes that Jupiter is a neutral. Now those of you who do not know about Kendradipatya Dosha will be really confused because Jupiter is the owner of the 1st house, owner of the 4th house, so it should be actually a good planet. And you may wonder why Maharshi Parasara has not stated it as a functional benefic, whereas he goes on to say that the Sun and Mars are benefics for this Lagna. So there is some amount of confusion here, and then you will be, when you start investigating, you will come to know that Maharshi Parasara has already spoken about this, where he said a functional benefic like Jupiter loses his beneficence when he rules house number 1 and 4. If we go by what most people today know Kendradipatya Dosha as, then you expect Maharshi Parasara to say that Jupiter is a functional malefic for Sagittarius ascendant. But he doesn't say that. He just says it is a neutral. So the reason for that is Jupiter owns the first house, and that is the Mulatrikona of Jupiter. Therefore, it must do a lot of good things. But we also know that Jupiter owns the fourth house, which is a Kendra, and because he is the ruler of the Kendra, he ceases to be a benefic, and therefore Maharshi Parasara says that Jupiter is a neutral graha, neutral planet. Take another case. Rishabha Lagna, Taurus ascendant. Maharshi Parasara very clearly states, this is the first time that he says the Lord of the first house is a bad planet. You may wonder, maybe he made a mistake. Obviously he can't, because he is considered one of the forefathers of ancient astrology. So why did he say that Venus is a functional malefic? The first rule that he has used is Venus, a natural benefic, by owning the first house, which is a Kendra, and suffers from this Kendradipatya Dosha, loses its beneficence. It doesn't turn malefic. And then he says, moreover, Venus is the lord of the sixth house, and the sixth house falls in the Mula Trikona of Venus. It is already declared as not a benefic, and then you add one more point where it turns malefic because he is the ruler of the sixth house. Therefore, he said that Venus is a bad planet, a functional malefic for Rishabha Lagna, Taurus ascendant. Whereas in the case of Sagittarius ascendant, you didn't have any further fault other than the Kendradipatya Dosha. You need something more in order to use Kendradipatya Dosha as a real dosha. So I wanted to actually convey this to you, and that's why I made this video. We have come to the end of this video. In case you have any doubts, please type them out in the comment section, and whenever I find the time, I'll answer them for you. And see you soon in my next video.